Absolutely. And you mentioned Ben Hunt. Now, you've got some breaking news for us, Reedy, in regards to Ben Hunt and his possible signing at the Dragons.
Yeah, well, it's not close, Braith, because there were further talks today and Ben Hunt has rejected their latest offer. It's not saying he's going to go to November 1. It's not saying it's dead. It's just saying the latest offer hasn't been good enough to get the deal across the line. So they've got to go back to the table and sharpen their pencils a bit, the Dragons.
So that's two...
What's been the sticking point there?
Well, I think initially the sticking point was they made him an offer, but it included those ratchet clauses you've got to put in deals now, right? So it wasn't what they wanted. They took the ratchet clauses out, up the offer, and I'm not sure what the sticking point is now, Kendi. Obviously, this news has only just come out, so I can't imagine it's... Well,
he's got to take even though he's a chance to win the Dally M, he's got to take a pay decrease at this stage of his career.
I think he knows that, though, Buzz, to be fair to him. I think he understands that. It's just the amount of the pay increase. It's just that George have been very, very good to him and paid him probably more money that he was worthy of until this year.
Certainly in the early stages of that contract, it was a 5-year, $1.2 million deal, and certainly the first couple of seasons at least, he was getting paid overs. Yeah. So you imagine there'd be some...
To be fair to him and his camp, I think they understand he's going to have to take a little less this time around.
Do you know what number that is? Like what's less? What's reasonable?
Well, the initial offer was $750 for 2 years, but that had ratchet clauses in it, so it would have ended up around $850, $900. So if that's not good enough, I mean, you've got to think it's maybe beyond that.
What about the hook clause? Anthony Griffin, the coach, is there a clause in there regarding him coaching the team?
Well, they've asked for it, but the club said no way. We're not going to put that clause in the contract. And I think I understand why they do that.
The point here is you've got to think, what would St George Illawarra be like without Ben Hunt? And it could be a little bit, how you going, I would have thought.
That's true, Buzz, but the other part to it, the flip side is, the minute you start paying too much for players, that's when teams get into salary cap trouble. Yep. Then what happens, that, as we've seen with some clubs who are still trying to get their way out of trouble. Tigers have spent 5 years trying to get themselves out of salary cap trouble.
The other issue they've got is Jaden Sullivan, because they've paid him, I think it's from 2024, his contract goes through the roof because the expectation was that he would be the halfback. So, you could have Ben on massive money, Jaden Sullivan sitting in reserve grade on huge money, although he will probably ask for a release if obviously Ben Hunt stays. So they're juggling that. And then you've got the Tyrell Sloan issue that won't go away as well. So they're juggling a few balls.
Are the Bulldogs still keen on Hunt? Is that where the competition is?
Well, I know they've got an interest in Sullivan if Hunt stays. I think there's a few clubs sniffing around Ben. I'm not sure how serious the Dogs are about him.
Titans are very serious.
Yeah.
The Bulldogs are also putting irons in the fire, Braith. That's the one thing that's what they're doing. They're very smart. There's no point just zeroing in on one player, because if you spend 3 months negotiating and miss him, you've just wasted 3 months. Yeah. And they've got the time. They've got 4 or 5 players on the hook out there, different clubs trying to see who they can attract. A couple from the Dragons, and off they go.
All right, let's have a look at my team of the year, up for debate, of course. I was asked today to put my team on paper, and this is what I come up with. I'm ready for the assault. So James Tedesco at fullback, Suoliti on one wing. I thought Holmes and Manu outstanding in the centres. Alex Johnston, after getting top try scorer and having another great year. Surprise, surprise, Cameron Munster at 5'8". Cleary partners him in the halves. Tarpany, Grant, Fisher-Harris. I thought Nenai had an amazing year at the Cowboys. Kikau there in the back row, and a contentious one at the end there. Instead of Isaiah Yeo, I went for Cameron Murray. Now, this was hard, mind you, very hard to do. I found the wingers the hardest, to be honest, to pick. And obviously 13 and 9 was very hard as well. What do we think?
I like it, but, I would have... and I don't know whether you can do this. Can you tinker with your team of the year? Because I would have put Yo at lock and moved Cam Murray to the second row. You can't do that. Why not? It's your team.
Trust me.
You can do what you want.
It's not a rep team. It's an awful the best players.
Well, I'd have had Isaiah Yo ahead of Cam Murray, with due respect to Cam, who's had an unbelievable year.
I think most would, to be fair. I
think you're definitely right with your front rowers. Your edge forwards, I guess, you got guys like Sean Lane now.
Yeah.
What do you love?
I'm not laughing, Buzz.
You got Sean Lane in the Australian team, don't you?
Well, I think he should be in contention.
You got him ahead of Nenai?
Well, not over the full season, but what we've seen in recent weeks, Candy, you jam him into the team of the year.
I think the other edge back rower at Parramatta's unlucky not to be in that team. Isaiah Papali'i. I mean, I think he's been outstanding all year. We've talked about Sean Lane hitting his stride in the latter stage of the year. I think Isaiah Papali's been at a high level all year.
What about the wingers? Because honestly, I found that hard. Cobbo had a decent year.
Yeah.
Mulatalo was
Daniel
good.
Tupou had a good year.
I found it hard to all, but he missed a lot of games.
Tuilagi.
The thing about it too, I think it's important for people at home, because people sit there and Alex Johnson, I know Buzz has got him on the plane to the
Well,
World
I
Cup.
haven't. I don't think they will take him, but I think he should go.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, I think there's wingers ahead of him. But that said, I think the season he's had, when you're picking awards nights, it's different from picking rep teams.
It is.
And if you're the best player in your position, even though someone might, for example, Cameron Murray or Isaiah Yeo, like 6 of 1, right?
Yeah.
But you just pick who you think's had the best season, even if they're not necessarily what you think's the better player in that position. And
You'll get an argument over the fullback too, as much as Teddy's a champion.
Yeah.
You'll get the Dylan Edwards argument.
well, he's had a tremendous season.
Yeah.
Why did you take Murray over Yo?
I thought he was just so important to South, and he's in a team that isn't as strong as Penrith as well. So he's had to work even harder. I mean, Krall said it last night. I mean, he's a warhorse, you know. And without him, it showed how much they missed him. I just, you know, you could pick Yo all day. You could. You know.
I'll tell you what's the other one, which is a bit seems strange saying it, but your halfback. He missed 5 weeks. Ben Hunt's.
He's the best half in the game.
I know he's the
by the
best
way.
half.
Come on.
Yeah, but this
He's
is who
not
has
just the best
this
half,
is who
he's
has
the
the
best player,
This
mate.
is who's had the best year.
I kind of.
Right, you could argue Mitchell Moses maybe. He didn't miss as much. Nathan missed a fair chunk of footy.
9
got
weeks.
Cleary there.
Cleary's had some big games, really.
I'm just
Look,
saying he
if Ben
missed a lot
Hunt
of footy.
wins the award, then he will automatically
He'll get the 7.
Exactly.
get the 7 in the team of the year. But Cleary's had some big games this year.
You should have picked
Nathan.
you should have picked a bench, kept Brady happy, and back Hunt at 14.
And an Australian team as well, so we can send everyone
And had
over.
Latrell in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah, true. What about Harry Grant quickly? You happy with him at 9 or?
Uppy.
Yeah, you
I'd plump for Harry, but I reckon a lot of people.
But it's
would
out of
argue
them too?
Uppy.
You think it's out of them
I
too?
think so, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, thanks, Buzz.